In the Marvel Universe, gods bend galaxies and monsters crush mountains. But not every hero was blessed with power or glory. Some were cursed with abilities so strange, so useless, you almost feel bad for them. From light shows that barely distract villains to bodies made of wax or feathers that cannot even fly straight, these powers are more embarrassing than heroic. Today we are diving into the bottom shelf of Marvel's power lineup. The heroes whose abilities make you wonder how they ever made it onto a team roster. This is 10 Marvel superheroes with the absolute worst powers. Jubilee burst onto the comic scene in the late 1980s, wearing yellow shades, a neon jacket, and enough attitude to light up a mall. Literally, her mutant power, shooting sparkling plasma, bursts from her hands. Fireworks that look impressive but barely singe a villain's costume. While the X-Men battled world-ending threats like Apocalypse and Magneto, Jubilee's power often felt like the equivalent of tossing confetti at a tank. She was more mascot than mutant powerhouse, but that is what made her unforgettable. Beneath the flash and fizz, Jubilee represented youth, the next generation of mutants still learning how to matter in a world that fears them. Over time, writers tried to upgrade her, even turning her into a vampire for a while. But the truth never changed. She was the superhero version of a sparklers on the 4th of July. Pretty, harmless, and out of place in a war zone. Yet in a way, her weakness was her strength. Proof that not every hero needs to level a mountain to stand tall, because sometimes courage shines brighter than plasma bursts. Still, compared to our next entry, Jubilee's fireworks almost feel useful. Now imagine a disco ball that joined the X-Men. That is Dazzler. Her power, turning sound vibrations into light. She could transform a guitar solo into a laser beam or a conversation into a glow show. Cool for concerts, not so much for cosmic crises. Originally created to cash in on the 1970s disco craze, Dazzler literally roller skated through battles while villains wondered if they were being attacked or entertained. Yet despite the absurdity, she kept returning, a performer who refused to fade away, surviving long after disco died. In modern comics, she has tried to reinvent herself, moving from pop icon to mutant freedom fighter, but the stigma of her stage-light powers never left. She will forever be remembered as Marvel's most glamorous warrior, dazzling enemies with rhythm and resilience rather than raw power. But if you think her light shows are strange, wait until you meet a hero whose mutation made him look more like a science experiment than a savior. Beak is what happens when mutation forgets to hand out the cool powers. Born Barnell Bohusk, this poor guy got all the side effects of evolution with none of the advantages. Instead of laser eyes or flight speed, Beak's mutation gave him a frail bird-like body covered in patchy feathers, a beak, and hollow bones. He could barely fly, more like awkward gliding that ended in crashes, and he certainly did not have the strength or agility of other mutants. On the battlefield, Beak looked less like an X-Man and more like someone who wandered in from a wildlife documentary. Yet despite his pitiful powers, Beak's heart was enormous. He fought for his friends, fell in love with another mutant outcast named Angel Salvador, and even helped save the world in ways his powers never predicted. His story became a quiet reminder that bravery does not depend on beauty or strength. Sometimes it comes from simply showing up. Still, when it comes to combat value, Beak was about as threatening as a pigeon in a hurricane. And if you think that sounds useless, the next hero takes awkward mutation to a whole new level. Imagine a man made of translucent pink wax with visible organs floating inside. That is Glob Herman. His real name is Robert Herman, and his mutation turned him into a walking anatomy display. His gelatinous body makes him nearly indestructible, sure, but also slow, clumsy, and practically impossible to hug. He can burn with bioparaffin flames, though controlling them is another story. A fight between Glob and firepower tends to end with melted chaos. Despite his monstrous look, Glob's personality is pure innocence. He is loyal, kind, and often the heart of the mutant misfits. But when your biggest superpower is looking like a science class prop, respect is hard to earn, even among mutants. Glob is the kind of hero who means well but rarely gets invited to the real missions, mostly because no one wants to clean up the waxy mess afterward. Still, his compassion makes him unforgettable. But up next, we are meeting someone whose mutation is not just weird, it is literally a doorway to nowhere. Doorman is one of those heroes who proves that Marvel's creativity sometimes swings wildly between genius and absurd. As a member of the Great Lakes Avengers, his power sounds clever at first. He can become a living doorway through solid objects. Want to get into a locked room? Just walk through Doorman's body. Sounds handy until you realize that is about all he can do. He does not teleport people across cities or worlds. He just lets them pass through him like a hallway with bad lighting. Over time, his role shifted from comic relief to Grim Reaper when he was chosen by Oblivion, a cosmic entity, to help souls cross over into the afterlife. So technically, he became a doorway to death. Poetic, but still not exactly save the world material. Doorman's curse is his name itself. He opens the way for others to do the real work. And yet fans appreciate his dry wit and loyalty because deep down, he knows he is ridiculous and leans into it anyway. But while Doorman's power may be strange, the next hero somehow manages to make weird look even more unhelpful and far louder. Now we move from the world of mutants to the open highway. U.S. Archer, also known as Ulysses Solomon Archer, is Marvel's answer to the question no one asked. What if a trucker had a cybernetic skull that could pick up radio signals? After his head injury, scientists replaced his cranium with steel, allowing him to literally hear radio frequencies in his mind. Armed with a big rig and American pride, he cruised the highways fighting crime in US 1, a comic that was part action, part advertisement for trucking culture in the early 80s. While Captain America fought global tyranny, U.S. Archer battled road bandits and CB radio villains. His power might be useful if you are trying to catch a talk show, but when aliens invade, truck radio brain does not exactly save the day. Still, his sheer earnestness made him memorable, a hero for the blue-collar dreamers of Marvel's weirdest decade. But buckle up, because our next hero has powers so awkward, they almost break the laws of physics and comedy. At first glance, Squirrel Girl seems like a joke. A cheerful college student with the proportionate strength and agility of a squirrel, complete with a furry tail and an army of rodents at her command. Yet somehow this ridiculous setup became one of Marvel's most unexpectedly powerful comedy icons. Created in the early 90s, Squirrel Girl was intended as a gag character, but she defied every expectation by defeating some of Marvel's biggest villains, Dr. Doom, Thanos, even Galactus, often through charm, cleverness, and absurd luck rather than brute force. Still, her actual powers remain objectively silly. She climbs trees, gnaws through materials, and communicates with squirrels. Hardly cosmic tier skills. But that is what makes her fascinating. She is living proof that optimism can be stronger than any weapon. Her stories balance parody with heart, reminding readers that joy itself can be a superpower. Yet as lovable as she is, even her loyal squirrel army cannot prepare you for what comes next. A hero so powerful in theory, yet so hilariously flawed in practice, that he might just redefine the meaning of overcompensation. Captain Ultra's story starts with potential and ends with pure absurdity. His real name is Griffin Gogol, a plumber from Brooklyn who gained an incredible array of powers after being hypnotized by an alien. Strength, flight, speed, invulnerability. On paper, he should have been unstoppable. There was just one problem. He had an uncontrollable fear of fire. The tiniest spark, the flicker of a lighter, or even a candle would send him into a panic attack. So yes, the man with ultra strength and near invincibility was completely undone by birthday parties and barbecues. Captain Ultra's curse is one of Marvel's cruelest jokes. All the power in the world, crippled by a phobia no villain even needs to exploit. His costume, a chaotic rainbow of colors, did not help his reputation either. Despite his shortcomings, Captain Ultra kept trying to prove himself. even joining minor hero teams like the Great Lakes Avengers. But in the end, he remains the poster child for wasted potential. The superhero version of a sports car that stalls at every red light. And yet, even his fiery fears seem heroic compared to the ridiculous speedster coming next. Few names in Marvel's history inspire as much secondhand embarrassment as the Wizard. Yes, that is his actual name. Robert Frank gained his super speed when doctors injected him with mongoose blood. An origin so bizarre it sounds like something written on a dare. While the Flash tapped into the Speed Force, the Wizard ran thanks to questionable biology and comic book logic. He zipped around in bright yellow spandex, trying his best to be taken seriously while everyone around him tried not to laugh at the name. Despite his ridiculous premise, the Wizard did manage to play important roles in early Marvel history, even becoming part of the Golden Age squad known as the Invaders. But in the modern era, he stands as a relic of a time when writers were still figuring out how science fiction worked. His heart was noble, but his branding was doomed from the start. And if you thought mongoose blood was strange, wait until you hear about a hero whose entire shtick feels like a satire of superheroism itself. Pennypacker is perhaps the ultimate example of Marvel scraping the creative barrel. A deep-cut character so obscure that even longtime fans have to dig through old issues to remember him. Introduced as a costumed adventurer with no powers, no gadgets, and no real purpose, Pennypacker's greatest achievement was existing. He represented Marvel's occasional tendency to parody its own formula. A man trying desperately to fit into a world filled with gods, mutants, and geniuses. His only power was persistence, often showing up where he did not belong, convinced that good intentions alone could make him a hero. He is both a punchline and a mirror, proof that for every Iron Man, there is a Pennypacker trying to matter. In the grand Marvel universe, he is the echo that reminds us how thin the line is between bravery and absurdity. And maybe that is the point. Not every hero needs to save the world. Some just remind us how human the dream of heroism really is. And there you have it. 10 Marvel heroes who prove that not every power is a gift. Some fight villains, others fight embarrassment. But all of them remind us why comics are never boring. If you love uncovering the weird side of Marvel, hit subscribe and stay tuned, because the next list might just change how you see your favorite heroes forever.